Now live. They're posting things crazy. Absolute Doom is the next season apparently. Yay. GG's. What am I doing? Right, so I need to rerun this test because I've just realized I'm running, I've been running G-Sync for a while on my test environment, which I shouldn't have been doing. I mean, it doesn't matter as long as I'm testing back-to-back things and only changing one thing, it doesn't matter. But I have been running G-Sync for some reason. I don't know why. Right, quit Discord. Anything else running in the background I shouldn't be running right now. That nonsense. All right. I need to rerun this test quick. The other thing I need to do, let's get rid of that. That's been a buggy. Oh no! Sorry, Bert. Well, that's really sad. I'm really sorry. What's going to happen to the other one? It did all the damage. What am I doing? Oh, okay. CPU max. Or is it CPU max? Is it CPU max? What group am I looking for? Maybe it is CPU max. Temperature. Like that. Right, is that better? Don't know yet, mate. Yeah, that's better. That's really sad. .95% right now. I'm sitting on 95% right. Really? It's a little high. Considering I'm not doing anything. That does seem a little high. Right, replace that. Play, confirm. Yeah, my back's a bit better today. It's still not better, but it's good enough to actually sit in a chair and not be lying in a bed. So that's an improvement. I've got a couple of days worth of Fortnite to catch up on now. 909. Ready, steady, go.
Capture started.
So I'm going to run this test, and then I probably need to sort some lunch out, and then I'm going to try play some this afternoon a little bit. I need to get out in the sunshine as well. I need some vitamin D. Nice day at the moment. It's meant to cloud over just after lunch, so I need to get some sunshine as well. Any more stuff? Alright, that's with my gamer slobs open, not too bad. The CPU goes up and down though. 39, yeah. So that's total, mate. Which one's which? Game as in... Okay, right. Nitro's been perma-banned. And someone called Ethan's. They reckon they've never cheated. There was something that was causing bans the other day. I think it's actually to do with the Intel instability. Okay. It's funny. Oh! Me and you have replay setting difference. Can you share in Discord the settings? You have player outlines and other enabled. Replay settings. I'm only... Oh, okay. I see. Yeah, I'll show you after this. Don't I have the default? Maybe I've changed from the default a while ago or something. I don't know.
Capture finished.
I mean, I suppose I could just turn off the HUD completely. But it's this, isn't it? Player outlines off. Storm effects on. Session ID watermark on. What else have I got here? Wait, why isn't that working? Nameplates on, team color on, view distance 100 meters, arrow distance 150 meters, off distance 250 meters. Just scaling on. I don't think I've ever played with these, to be honest. I mean, what happens if I literally turn it off? Does it still make a difference? I completely turn it off. Oh, wait, why isn't that working? Have I? No, that's right. Have I still got player outlines on? Or does it... No, it's still got little arrows over there. I might start turning it off, to be honest, when I do my replays. I don't know whether it's better or worse. CPU max seems higher than normal, 90s today. Interesting. Curious to see whether this is better. Yeah, I've still got outlines on though, look. I've got player outlines. Also, I don't know whether the first time I just ran this replay I was creating shader cache. I can't remember if I cleaned it out. So, if there is a big difference between these two, then we'll know why. Well, actually, you'll be able to see it if it's having loads of latency spikes, whether it's shader cache one or not. I love having a dual PC set up because it just means that I can run a benchmark and my stream has absolutely no impact on it whatsoever. Love it. Love having that. I think I'd have a nightmare if I was streaming at the same time as trying to show you live benchmarking. I don't think I'd be able to do it, to be honest. It'd be too many variables. I don't understand how those NVIDIA things got reset. Really weird.
Capture finished.
Alright. Alright. Have a look and see what that looks like. Oh, there weren't any big latency spikes, so down clocking a bit. There is. Wait. Hard. Hard. Well, that makes a difference. No hard. Wait, what? What? Why am I thinking so much worse today? What? Yeah, what, look how much higher my CPU utilization is today. I'm 20% up. What am I running that's adding 20%? Hello? What? What is going on? Why am I using 20% more CPU today than yesterday? What's going on? I did move something from... I did add a new rule for something. Wow. How much more the E-cores are doing? Holy moly. Why are my E-cores maxed out right now? What's going on? What did I move across? I can't remember. I did move something else across to the E-cores today. What was it? Because I think that was a bad move. What was it? I'm trying to remember what it was. Why am I running Discord? I closed Discord. Look, I've closed Discord. So how is it still running? How are those still running? Look, 26%. That'll be why. I closed Discord and I closed it in here, and yet it's still running. terminate. That will be the extra 20 blooming percent. Look. The percent of the CPU is just going to do it. Whoop down. Yeah, that'll be right. Now that looks normal. So I closed Discord. I then saw it was still running in here, and I closed it in here, and it was still running a stuck process. Well, that's interesting. That explains why the results were worse. Okay. Run it again. Wow. Don't run Discord, folks, on your gaming PC. It's not like I was even in a voice call or anything. All right, ready, steady, go. Now look at the CPU max. Slap down there. Now it's in the 70s and the 60s, not the 90s. Cheeky little Discord. Right, so after I've done this, I'm going to grab a quick bite to lunch and then play some games after lunch. See who's on. Oh, Rap says not too bad, right? It's difficult to see. It's more about oh, I can't play on my thing. I can't see which one's which either. Number one. Depends.
Capture finished.
Oh, I'm just replying to Rapper on something. Right, so let's see if this is any better now. You. So this is no. So let's see if that looks a little bit better. Yeah, that looks a bit more like yesterday's one. Still not good stats, to be honest. It's yesterday. Those were broken ones, so we can get rid of those because it was running that Discord exe. Check the difference between these two. The CPU thread is both thread load max is both 70, so that's almost identical. I'm clocking a little bit more today. Using it. I don't know why it's doing that though. Temperatures. It's clearly hotter today. 3 degrees hotter. Yeah, 3 degrees hotter today. Not really a fair comparison. 3 degrees hotter. See, the GPU load is going to be almost identical. Yeah, it's running hot today. I don't know whether to kind of reboot, make sure the Discord issues have gone away. Windows open. I think it is a bit hotter today. Reboot quick. Hey, Zeppo. Oh, speed. Missed some questions. Hang on. Can games handles 7,800 speed per RAM, or is depends what your CPU is. It's not the game that's the problem. The limiting things for your memory speed are your motherboard and your CPU. They are your limiters. So it depends what motherboard you've got, and it depends what CPU you've got. The game can run at any memory speed. Oh, I'm gonna sneeze. Oh, excuse me. I noticed that was on the other day. Yeah, there was something else. What did I move across this morning in Processor C? I moved something over. I can't remember what it was. Wasn't that, wasn't that, wasn't that. Wasn't that. RTSS, wasn't that. Was it that one? What is that? Why is that running on a... Yeah, clear that rule. I don't know why that was there on that one. It's fine. All the NVIDIA ones is fine. L3 Connect is fine. Was it that? It might have been... Was it? Oh, smart screen. I think it was smart screen. I think I added that to the E-cores today. Okay. So let's start Capture Mix up. Let's start the Games Launcher up. Oh. Let's have another look. I'm worried about what else that Discord. Back in still had it in a bit, you know. Ugh. Go back to the replay. Cheaper time. 999. Go. Gameplay. And the HUD off. Ready. Steady. Go.
Capture started.
I mean, that benchmark map might be quite good if you could start it exactly when the same place each time. You could be like, ready, steady, go, record. I don't think there's a way of doing that. You just basically load the map up and it instantly starts on its own. Yeah, that would be good actually, being able to use that map at standard place. Oh, back. Okay. Yeah, that's all fine. So those cores look good.
Capture finished.
Alright, let's have a look. Mute. A little bit better. Why is it hotter today? Don't like that. What was that about? 52 to 71. 52 to 82. Oh, 57, 58. It's just a hotter day, I think. I think it's just a hotter day. Yeah, I don't know what happened there. These really to compare against. I mean, it could be the difference between the G-Sync. So say for some reason G-Sync was running accidentally. Hey Andrew, how you doing? I noticed on my test environment that these all somehow got reset, and I don't know how I haven't got a clue how this happens. But these were all reset to like G-Sync and things, and I've been running some tests on it for the last couple of days. So I fixed that today, but my results are worse than when they were. But they shouldn't be worse. They should be a little bit better. But the only thing I can spot that's the difference is the CPU temperature. So today averaging 57 or 58, whereas when I was running it before that, I was running averaging 55, 54. So it's just a cooler day. As you're saying that, maybe it's something extra that I have put on the E-cores accidentally. Because look, when I put everything on processor 2 onto the E-cores, it was running at a higher temperature, 58, 56, 54. So maybe it is something I've moved across. No. These are the ones, anything with the rules that says 8 to 15 is basically I've moved it from the P cores over to the E cores, number 8 to 15. So that's the game. Audio, I already had those set up. Defender, I already had that set up. Processor 2 I already had allocated. All of those I already had allocated. RTSS I moved across. But why would the temperature be higher by moving processes over to E cores? When the E cores are running at 4.5 gigahertz, imagine, is that how it works? Why don't I have that? Benchmate a sec. Have a look at hardware info. Do the E cores run cooler than the P cores? Yeah, I think it would depend on how much voltage is going through, and I'm pretty sure it's the same flipping voltage for all of them. Oh, I mean, that's not much lower the E cores than the P cores. It's a little bit lower. But look, the E cores are running at 4.5 and the P cores are running at 5.9. So I need some temperatures. Give me some temperatures. There we go. They're all running the same. I'm not saying that. The E-cores peaks are lower than the P-core ones. So this is what I mean. So in theory, moving more processes from the P-cores to the E-cores should make the overall CPU cooler. No? Isn't that not logical? Oh, I haven't got a light on. I look weird. I'm seeing in the dark. Yeah, that would make sense to me. That these are getting up higher. See, the averages are about the same. We are actively running a 360 FPS replay in the background right now. E cores aren't doing anywhere near as much as the P cores. The P cores are pretty evenly spread. So why would moving more stuff over to the E cores from the P cores actually generate more heat? That doesn't make any sense to me. Oh, come on. And that's just crashed. Right. I don't, hey Speed, I don't generally do other people's PCs for them unless it's kind of friends or friends of friends. I normally just encourage people to buy my cheaper guide, much cheaper guide, and just follow the instructions in that so you can do it yourself. But yeah, your computer would be way better after following my guide. So to put it in perspective, my if I was to do my guide for you, I'd charge at least $50 an hour, £50 an hour, and it would take probably about 3 or 4, 5 hours. So you're looking at least $250 at least, or euros or pounds for me to do it for you. But if you do the same things as I do yourself, then my guide costs what, 20 pounds, and then you learn how to do it as well. So it's teaching you how to do it, and you're getting a fast computer. So generally, I would just encourage you to just get my guide, my pack. But yeah, in terms of better FPS, I keep getting asked this. Generally speaking, the only way to get more FPS is to have a faster CPU for if it's a CPU bound game, a faster CPU and faster memory, generally speaking. So you can either buy a better CPU and a better faster memory, or you can overclock them, or you can really turn down your graphics. But my experience, turning down the graphics really doesn't make that much of a difference. Where optimizing for FPS does help a lot is the lows. So how often if you want like a constant 240 FPS, how often you're kind of getting drops into the hundreds, 90s, 70s kind of thing. My stuff will really help with that and stopping that. So it'll be a lot smoother and a lot more consistent. So optimizing FPS is very much different to getting more FPS. Kind of two different processes. You'll get more by having faster hardware, and but you can optimize your FPS to stop the lows by running less stuff in the background, by running RTSS to manage the frame times, things like that. In terms of latency, the optimization will really help with that as well. Most people I start with, we get their background latency down by at least like a factor of 3, 4, 5 times when you buy the guide. So you need to be on my Discord, and I basically unlock a section of my Discord, and then you can just download it from there. But yeah, if you want to join my Discord, it's just !Discord for a link. Oh, there we go. That's the one. So join that, and there's a section called Guide README, and that kind of does the steps. Oh, Rapper's sending me more stuff. This is in game. Yeah, that looks good, mate. Yeah, that looks good. That looks good. Be stuttering for 2 games though. Rebuilding shader cache. Yep. Well, we should go and join Rap. Sorry, multitasking. Rapper and Shitpoo is recommended. Yeah. So I look after both their PCs. I'm talking to Rapper right now. He's DMing me while I talk to you. So we're just sorting him out too. Yeah, I look after both. They won't let anyone else on their PC other than me. Yeah. But yeah, others can vouch. Andrew says, yeah, buy the guide, it's worth. It's also a lot more comforting knowing what's happening to your computer. And you can see, I explain literally everything I'm doing. So if something doesn't improve your performance, you can easily roll it back to how it was before. Just in the individual bits, not the whole thing. So yeah, that really helps. What was I doing? Got distracted now. Oh yeah, we got that. We were having that problem, weren't we? The Alt Tab issue. We were trying to work out why it was running hotter when we're moving more things across. Because I did this comparison the other day for Processor Sue. That, and then yeah. So I was optimizing it, and when I put everything on the E-cores, it was much worse performance, and it was hotter as well, and I couldn't work out why it was hotter. That doesn't make any sense. But then, yeah, what have I changed today? I still haven't worked out what I moved across today. I think it was the smart screen, wasn't it? There's parking. I think it was the smart screen I moved across. And smart screen is like a malware thing for when you go browsing, built into Windows. Or it could just be it's hotter today. Hi, Gramps. I mean, Dot from back. Yeah, thanks, mate. I could do with a flux capacitor, to be honest. That would be very handy right now. Yeah, it was definitely smoother as well with just select processes on moving them across to the E-cores. So one thing I don't do is I don't move across services to the E-cores because a lot of the services run your network stuff. And like this service host here is running multiple different services on it. And as soon as you basically select service host.exe to be in the list of things to move across, it will literally move all the services, not just one of them. And it matches on the process name. And you really don't want your network services being slowed down when you're running an online game. You want those as fast, being processed as fast as possible. So I do not recommend moving your services across. So what else is running on here that might potentially be slowing things down? I mean, even that. I mean, even the smart screen, the thing that I moved today, that's used hardly any CPU time up. I think it's only relevant when you start a browser, to be honest. You know what I'm going to do? What I'm going to do? Let's run a quick debloat. Run the latest Chris Kaitis tech tool quick. Let's upgrade anything. It's a useful tool. Let's find a couple of things to update. That's interesting. 1.6. That's new out today. I can't be a grandpa though yet. My son's 14. I hope he's not getting girls pregnant at 14. I've got a few years, I hope. Oh, what's that? PhysX update. Okay, we probably don't need. Yeah, I can update it. Fine. Yeah, I got a few years. All those up. Okay. That's that done. What else can we do? So, right, standard and Debloat Edge. That's new. He's added that recently, Debloat Edge. He does update this tool quite regularly. Yeah. Yep. 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 Nope. Yep. 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 Leave all the rest. Run that. The guide, yeah, it does do some basic overclocking. So it gives you some basic CPU overclocking, memory overclocking, and GPU how to GPU overclock. So it does give you a basic guide on how to do those. Are you desperately trying to get more FPS? Because I mean, you're not going to get. I mean, going from, put it this way, if you overclock your memory, you'll typically get between about, if you do a really good job, 6 to 8% more average FPS. So it's not revolutionary in any means. If you don't have XMP switched on in your BIOS, and then you switch XMP on for your memory, then that will give you a decent FPS boost. But that's pretty much the only thing really. You have a monster PC, but you've never done anything to it. But if you've got a monster PC, then you should be at least running a solid 240 or 360, depending on the game. They're done. Let's run. Oh, shut up as well. Actions. That one. No. 15 settings. I need to put the mic back on. Oh, you can't hear me. Mic. Right, phone. Teaches you to do, the guide teaches you to do all of this stuff, by the way. All of this as well. Okay, so that should all be fine. Finish. Done. Okay, the only other thing I probably want to run is auto runs. Make sure that Edge, because I run Chrome instead of Edge. Normally turn everything off. That can be deleted because it's not found. Let's turn off all of these. Don't need all of these. If I'm running Chrome, refresh is gone. Anything else I can turn off in here? No, that's all fine. Leave all that alone. All right, let's reboot. Try and run it again. On performance mode, I get 500. In what? In creative? In game? In what? I mean, you only ever want 500 if you are running a 500 hertz monitor. If you are not running a 500 hertz monitor, then you should be capping to whatever your monitor hertz is. So if you're running a 240 hertz monitor, you should be capping your FPS at 240 hertz. If you're running a 360 hertz monitor, you should be capping your hertz at. I mean, what I do is I cap it at the exact amount that the hertz is. So you've got a 540 hertz monitor, okay. So yeah, normally I'd be so when you say monster monster PC, what are your specs? Because Intel will struggle to keep a constant higher than 360. I've got the best Intel CPU you can get. I've got very fast memory. I've got the best cooling I can possibly get for the CPU. So it's unlikely if you've got an Intel spec CPU that you're going to be getting better performance than me. And the only way, I mean, I can get 540. I mean, 540 in game, but I would be dropping a lot. It wouldn't be particularly smooth. I mean, you can see, I mean, I'm running actual replays here of games, and you can see that even with 360 cap, sorry, it's up, I'll show you. Even with a 360 cap, I'll change that to FPS. Even with 360 cap here, I'm still getting drops at certain bits of the map. Yes, I'm on performance mode. So you've got a KS, do you? And you've got a KS. You've got a 14900 KS CPU. And what memory do you have? The 4090, yeah, makes no difference. It makes no difference. Yeah, Fortnite FPS is determined by your CPU speed and your memory speed, not the GPU. So yeah, as I say, if I was running 540, then I could run it a bit better. But I mean, you're looking. What will happen is if I show you a comparison of different caps. So this is on my old PC before I updated. So you can see this is the same replay, yeah, but with different FPS caps. So this is on my old PC, which isn't as good as my new PC. But you can see that here, 240 FPS cap is not affected by this bit of the map that I went through on 360 and 300 FPS cap. So you'd be seeing similar things if you were capping at 540. You would be basically seeing probably the blue line as opposed to capping lower. Yeah, I'm on 1080p. Yeah. So this is why it's important to cap at the right amount. And if you're on Intel, then you're probably going to be struggling to maintain a solid higher than anything 360. That would what my 360 would be looking like now on my new PC. And what am I running? I'm running a 4080 Super, obviously doesn't count. I'm running a 14900 KS CPU, and I'm running my memory at 7466. But yeah. And you still end up getting kind of frame drops, even on that with the current map. In depends what you're playing, but yeah, on the main game map you will get these drops. If you were running AMD one of their X3D chips, this would be better, to be honest. This is the limit of Intel. This is as good as it gets on Intel. It's very, very smooth, incredibly smooth. So yeah, optimization really is not for getting more FPS. It's for stopping these going lower with these drops, making it smoother, making it more consistent. I mean, I get about what was I getting? I was getting so an interesting test that you can look at in Fortnite is there's a benchmark map. Yeah, the Fortnite one's not particularly accurate. Let me show you a replay. So you can probably I can show you something that you compare directly with. Let me see. Load this up. There's a performance map. You can't really benchmark it because you can't start it at the same place each time, but it'll give you an idea. So if I turn off my RTSS to have it not capped at all, zero it. So I'm not capping anymore. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Are we running the HUDs? Okay, this one. And then we go to this one, benchmark. So that's the island code for the benchmark. 52. I'll try and write it down. Let me write it down for you. 52 84 34 56 32 82. Yeah. We go in there. Make it private. Run that. 1080p performance mode, and you can see what kind of FPS you're getting. Yeah, it is very reliant on fast RAM, but what I spotted the other day is it's not really using the RAM, which is weird. When I did a profile the other day, Andrew, it's not actually using much of the bandwidth up of the RAM. Hardly anything. So it's the game code that is having problems with Intel, and the fact that Intel has less L3 cache. So you can see here, oh wait, I'm capping. Am I still capping? I thought I'd turn this off. Why did I turn this off? Unlimited. Where I turn this off? Did I turn this off? Yeah, I did turn it off. What's going on? Stop it. And then did 0, go. Come on, why is this being slow? And the HUD size so you can see how big this is. Make the HUD as big as possible. All right, where's the FPS? Why is it not showing FPS? It's being weird. Show FPS on. Okay then. Is that so weird it can't, it's so big it then can't see it? Still not showing it. I don't know why this is not showing it. It's like it's deliberately turned off FPS for this, which is weird. Right, I'm going to go back to what I had it a minute ago. HUD size 70. And I'm going to put CapFrameX on. Yeah, the HUD's too zoomed in. I think that's what it is. Oh, now it's showing it. Look. It's a bit small. I'm not sure you can see it. I wanted to make it a bit bigger. So it's just over 1,000. It's going up to the highest numbers are about 1260, 1280 I saw there. And the lowest numbers, it's kind of dipping. Occasionally it's dipping mostly 1,000, the lowest. Yeah, I think Intel has better latency. It does seem that way. When I've tested end-to-end latency, Intel does seem to have lower latency. But let's put CapFrameX on and then you can see it a lot easier. Yeah. So 1040, so 1062, 1124, 1055. It ranges. So it starts off in like the 900s. But yeah. I mean, you can see how bored my GPU is. Look, 35%. It's bored. Yeah, it's not particularly representative of what you'll get in game. In the main map, you'll get a lot lower. Right, my FPS has just come way down from doing those monitoring. That's a lot lower from running this. And okay, now we're in the 1200s. No, it doesn't get, no, I limit mine at 360. And then it doesn't really ever go down very much. So I hard limit mine. In game, I mean, I never run unlimited in game because that's just a bad idea. But, I mean, I could probably get away with running that. Watch. All right, so let's say, so this is unlimited, yeah? Let's get out of here. I'll go into a replay and I'll limit my FPS at 540 and see what it looks like. Yeah, we do that. Right, 540. So we're limiting mine to 540 now. And then I'll run a replay. I'll run the replay that we keep running. So which is on the main map. That. Gameplay. T for time. 999. Take off the HUD. Right, so this would be an actual live game. Yeah? Hey, Biscuit. And as you can see, I'm not hitting 540 right now. Okay. Keep an eye on it.
Capture started.
So 537, 527, 519, 536, 538, 527. Yeah, I wouldn't. About went down to 400 and something. You want steady FPS. You want basically sitting at your frame cap all the time for it to be consistent frame times. Yeah, so I would say my PC is not a 540 FPS PC for Fortnite. And as I say, I've maxed out on the CPU, the memory, the motherboard, the cooling, and I'm only one lower on the GPU, but the GPU is not making any difference anyway. So, yes, oh, we just hit 540. I mean, you want it consistent. You want it so it's not jumping around all the time. I mean, I would not be buying myself a 540 Hz monitor with this PC because there's no point. This is as low graphics as you can really go. So you're not going to really gain anything. Even overclocking your memory even higher, I don't think would help. Now it's 540. No, it's not. It's got down again. Yeah, so there's no point in me buying a 540 monitor. One thing I'm looking forward to is at the end of the year, they're coming out with NVIDIA G-Sync Pulsar, which is a new technology that uses backlight strobing in conjunction with kind of G-Sync. And it's meant to increase the motion clarity by ×4. So you can run like 360 or 240 FPS, but it will look like it's over 1,000 FPS. And you haven't had to upgrade your computer at all. It's all done from the monitor. So they're coming, those monitors technologies coming out at the end of this year. That's what I'm looking forward to. So I can continue running 360, but it will look like it's over 1,000 with motion clarity. So what do you think will be at 360 on Intel 360? I mean, if you want smooth gameplay, the most important number is the number to the right of the FPS down there. So 1.9 milliseconds at the moment, 2.3. Keeping that consistent is that's the frame time. That's the time between each frames. And if you think of it like song music, that's the beat of the music. So when you're dancing, you want a consistent beat, so your rhythm is right. So when you're aiming, you want that frame time the same all the time, consistent, so that your aim is consistent. And that's why you cap to keep that number the same. But if you're capping at too high level, it's still going to be going up and down. So yeah, you want that beat of the music always the same. So for me, that's what, 2.7 milliseconds. And Ship actually went back to 240 FPS, even though he can run 360, because he's used to the 4.2 millisecond beat, and he's got like 50,000 wins on 4.2 millisecond beat of the music. And so his aim was a little bit off at 360, which takes it down to 2.7 milliseconds. So he actually went back to 240 because his aim, he's so used to his aim being with that timing. I need to go and make myself some lunch. Right, anyway, so let me show you the thingy. Will look like DIAC 2. Or you mean the Pulsar stuff? Look it up. Look it up. There's like a whole thing about it. I'll show you. NVIDIA Pulsar. Right. So basically, you can see with Pulsar on and Pulsar off, look. So it's turning 240 FPS into, or 360, into a 1,000 hertz monitor, and you have 1,000 hertz, and you haven't actually had to run more FPS for it. It's just, it's much clearer with Pulsar on. As I say, the first monitors are coming out, launches later this year. I don't know what the resolution will be, Biscuit. But yeah, so I've told Rapper and Ship to wait for these monitors, because they were asking me what monitor should I buy right now, and I keep telling them wait for these ones, wait for the Pulsar to come out, the G-Sync Pulsar, because it's going to be amazing. Yeah, but the thing is, you can't run 1,000 FPS, Biscuit. That's the problem. Problem is this technology lets it look like it's 1,000 hertz, but you're not actually running 1,000 hertz. You're running, I think they're 360. Basically, but it's saying it's times by 4 the motion clarity. So yeah, it should be introduced at the end of the year. So it allows you to run you're not completely have to spend £10,000 on a new computer to run get 1,000 hertz clarity. It means you can just run it much lower. And I mean, ULMB came out last year, But ULMB, in my experience, adds a ton of latency. So I'm going to be really interested to see what the G-Sync Pulsar is going to do in terms of latency. Because G-Sync doesn't really add latency. In fact, on my latest test, G-Sync was actually the lowest latency over fixed refresh. So for end-to-end latency. So it'll be interesting to see when you combine the kind of backstrobing technologies of ULMB with G-Sync to get this pulsar thing, what the actual latency will be. But if the motion clarity is like 4 times better, then shooting games, you're going to want this monitor. You're going to just want it. Yeah, you won't need to update your PC. You'll just be able to do it from your monitor. Is Intel 5 going to have the same socket? No, it's going to have a different socket. So you're going to need a different motherboard. Be interesting to see what Intel 15 is going to do, because they're meant to be getting rid of hyperthreading, which I turn off anyway, because it's obviously running too much heat. Yeah, you'll need a different motherboard because it won't fit. I'm planning on sending my PC back to CyberPower and saying, please change the motherboard and the Intel CPU that's obviously degraded. And then I'll get the CPU free on RMA, and it'll just be a case of changing the motherboard. I assume it's not going to be Con G-Sync compatible. On G-Sync compatible. So what? Not sure what that means, Rosefine. But yeah, that's what I'm holding out for as well. But I did look up these monitors that are coming out, and I think they are meant to be 360 hertz. I did look it up because I couldn't see here anywhere whether they're going to be 240 hertz ones or 360 hertz ones, the Asus ones that are coming out. I think it does look like they're 360. But we'll see. I mean, if it's 240 and it still looks 1000 FPS. Pulsar thing. I still don't understand what you mean by Con G-Sync compatible. It is G-Sync. That's G-Sync Pulsar. It is G-Sync. Yeah. But the trouble with OLED, OLED is great for really, really low latency, greater grays, but that's really not where the latency is anyway. The latency is in the talking from the GPU through the cable to the monitor to then display it. It's not. The problem with OLED is that you get burn-in. I've had an OLED TV for like 5 years, and it got horrific burn-in after one. Horrific. Always on. Okay, so you said, I assume it's not going to be on G-Sync compatible. No, it will need a dedicated G-Sync chip in it. G-Sync compatible monitors don't have an actual G-Sync chip in it. No, it'll be expensive as well. It will be expensive. Yeah, I'm hoping your OLEDs are good, but from my experience, OLEDs is horrific. I'm never ever going near OLED again. Waste of money. I spent like 7K on an OLED TV. It was useless. It was just terrific after like a year. Right. Anyway, I'm gonna go and make myself some lunch because I've got a nice juicy steak sitting outside that I need to go and cook. Oh, or we were going to look at the results of that. What did we change? Oh yeah, we were looking at the frame rate limits. Let me show you the frame rate limit. So same replay. So this is 360 FPS limit, and this is 540 FPS limit. Right, watch this. Right, so you can see there the difference between running a limit, the FPS limits of what I should be using, probably can just about get away with this, and what I shouldn't be using at 540. So this one's 540, this one is capping at 360, and you can see nice, smooth, consistent gameplay with consistent frame times. Whereas this one's going up and down a lot. And I have pretty much the best Intel setup you can get. So, yeah, shouldn't really be, no one really probably should be running more than 360 FPS cap. Got a horrible one there. You can see the difference in frame times as well. AMD is better, and it's better for one singular reason. See that number down there? That's how much L3 cache you've got on your CPU for Intel, 36 megabytes. Whereas the AMD X3D ones have 96. Which means the Fortnite code can predominantly run in L3 cache, and L3 cache is at least 4 times faster than your DRAM, than your DDR5, DDR5. 4 times faster. So the extra, even though they're running slower speeds, clock speeds, by the way, that's the average, including these ones. So I'm actually running 5.9 on all of these ones where the game's running. It's all about this. It's all about the L3 cache. So the AMD guys can run much higher FPS because it's all running in this, which is much faster than your physical memory, much faster than the actual memory. I wanted to get Intel because I thought it would be better. It is lower latency though. So to compare latency, end-to-end latency, same 360 FPS cap. I think Zeppo on his AMD 7800 X3D, he gets about, what was it? About 8 milliseconds latency, 9 milliseconds latency from clicking your mouse to see it on screen. And I get about 6 milliseconds. So percentage wise, it's hugely lower, but really it's only about 2 or 3 milliseconds lower. So it is better latency from when you're clicking your mouse to seeing it on screen. But your FPS aren't as fast because you don't have as much L3 cache. But what's interesting is the Intel 15th gen, they're meant to be actually bumping up the L2 cache. And obviously L1 cache is the fastest, then L2 cache, then L3 cache. I did some measurements the other day. Let's have a look at this. Really need to go and get my steak. Where was the thing? Where was the thing I did the other day? Oh yeah, here we go. So you can see here the difference between the speeds of the different memory types. So you've got L1 cache is running, look at the latency, 0.84 nanoseconds, and it's running at bandwidth 6,700 gigabits a second. Then you've got L2 cache, which is 9 nanoseconds, then runs at 2,000 instead of 6,000. Then you've got L3 cache, which runs at 400 with 44 nanoseconds. But then you actually got your physical memory, and that's running at 65 nanoseconds with only about 100 and just over 100 gigabits a second. So your L3 cache is like 4 times faster bandwidth, bit faster latency, but if Intel 15th gen bung a load of extra cache for L2 cache, then that's going to probably make it a lot better for gaming, because but AMD are using a load of L3 cache, but if Intel trump that with a load of L2 cache, look how much faster it is. Massively faster. So I think their plan for the Intel 15th gen is to basically get rid of hyperthreading to reduce the temperatures. I don't know what they're going to do with E-cores, whether they're going to keep bunging more E-cores out. But for gaming, they're going to bung a load of L2 cache on it. So instead of 24 meg, they'll have a lot more. And then you'll get really, really good results in games. I think that's how they're going to compete with AMD. So yeah, so overclocking your memory doesn't make a huge difference compared to an X3D. You're never, I mean, if you're going to overclock your memory, you're going to go from like 100 to 115 kind of thing. You're never going to get near the 400s that the L3 cache for the AMD chips are running. You're not going to compete with that. So it doesn't matter whether you overclock your memory or not. It can't compete with local cache. It's just so much closer to the CPU. It has less distance to go and can talk to it so much quicker. Whereas your DRAM has to go kind of across multiple slots all the way over there, through the empty slot, into that one, into that one, into that one, and back again. So that's why it's a lot slower. Yeah, 2T. So yeah. So no, this was done. That was CL34 7600. That was. I'm not running that at the moment. I'm running CL34 7466, which takes these down to about 116. I compared the results on my old PC, which has got really, really good memory for DDR4, much lower latency. And the latency for this on the other one is about 54, I think, nanoseconds. But this is just in the OCC test. If I measure the latency in like Ada64, it's even lower again. So it's just comparison with the OCC test. Right, I really need to go and make my steak lunch. I need some steak. But yeah. The things I've been doing recently, I've been moving. I mean, this is running Fortnite in the background right now. You can see what it's doing with the performance cores and what it's doing with the E-cores. And I've been trying to move as much as I can from the operating system and background apps from the P cores to the E cores so that it frees up a bit here. But I found that if you move too much from the operating system into the E cores, you end up the game waiting on something from the operating system, which actually makes the latency and the FPS worse. So you've got to be very select what you actually move from the P cores to the E cores. Right. But yeah, you don't want to be capping on Intel at 540. Probably not 500 either. You want to be capping around 360, and that's probably as high as you should go. I mean, the bottleneck here anyway is not your hardware, it's the code. It's the Intel code. I know I'm going off on another tangent. I measured this the other day, right? Do not consent. Look at this. What did I look at? It's this one. So I basically ran Fortnite in the background, unlimited FPS, and then I ran the Intel VTune profiler on the system to see where the kind of bottlenecks were and see where it was actually bottlenecking out. So the CPUs weren't maxed, the GPU wasn't maxed. This is running unlimited Fortnite. And so this is where it highlighted that thing, the red flags where it was bottlenecking. And the two things, well, it says it doesn't like the fact that the logical core utilization wasn't evenly spread, but the reason for that is because it's not evenly spread. I've got the game running on P cores and the everything else running on E cores, so that explains that one. It didn't like the fact that it was red flagging it because it was saying it wasn't loading across all the cores. So if I turned off the E cores, that would be fine. It's pretty much load balancing it quite well across the P cores, so that one's fine. Then it talks about the microarchitecture usage, and that's the game engine code, how the code is utilizing the hardware, how efficiently it's doing that. And then the last thing it was looking at was whether it was memory bound or not. Yeah, resizable bar does help a little bit. So the main areas really are the code, the game engine, and the memory. But then I looked more detailed at the memory. Is it that one or is it that one? No, it's this one. Yeah, because I thought, okay, so it's the memory bottlenecking. Because if it isn't the CPU, it isn't the GPU, it isn't the network, and it isn't the disk, that only leaves on your computer the memory. So I thought, okay, so it's the memory speed that's the problem. So then I did basically a memory access analysis whilst Fortnite is running in the background at maximum FPS. And I found that hardly any of the DRAM, hardly any of the DDR5 was actually being used. So if you remember what my total bandwidth max was, it was about 117, 116. Look how much it's actually using of the memory. Hardly using anything. So you can see that it's mostly using, of the P cores, it's mostly using the L3 cache, 6.6% compared to the memory, it's only using 4.8% of the clock ticks. So it's mostly using L3 cache, which explains why AMD X3D CPUs with their additional 96 megabytes of L3 cache get higher FPS, because it's mostly doing its code in the L3, not your memory. It's hardly using your memory at all. So overclocking your memory isn't going to help much because it's hardly using it. Yes, it will lower the latency, which will make it go through quicker, but it's not really using much of it. The bandwidth is certainly nowhere near being utilized. I then ran another one. This one? No, I didn't run another one. I did have a looks at. I did run another one where I was running TM5. So I was running a stress test on the memory, and then that was actually showing that it was using up here somewhere. It was doing up here. So it was a correct test. So this is running Fortnite in the background at maximum FPS, and the CPU's not maxing out, the GPU's not maxing out, the network's not maxing out, the disk is not maxing out, and it seems that the memory's not maxing out either. So what does that leave? It leaves the code. It leaves the game engine itself being very inefficient, and it just taking a really bad route to get from A to B. It's not going in a straight line and having an efficient code. It's going all over the place to get to it. So it's not an efficient use of the hardware that the game engine, Unreal Engine, is actually using. So the max FPS with AMD, those guys on that replay that I was maxing out, I think about 1,220 or something, they are getting 1,400. So they're getting an extra 200 FPS than I'm getting. The guys on my Discord with their 7,800 X3Ds. I still probably wouldn't cap at 540 FPS. Still probably going down quite a bit. I mean, Has Zeppo posted on here? So one thing I do is I share these replays with the other guys on my Discord, and we can compare the same replays with different hardware. So we've all got the same optimizations, all running the same Windows. What am I looking for? I'm looking for compare benchmarks. So yeah, so like getting better FPS than I am on the same replay. So what, 359.8 compared to my 358.4 running AMD versus Intel, I think. I think Aldar's running AMD. Either that or he's running a better motherboard than I am. Can't remember. But yeah, I often post the same replay that we can all run on our PCs, and then we can all compare what FPS and what results we've got. Does that answer your question? Yeah, so if any of you guys want all my findings. So basically, I've gone through and I've tested everything that I can possibly test. CPU sets, processor, so different frequency cores, different tweaks. I've literally tested everything you can possibly think of for Fortnite. And anything that's better FPS and better latency has gone into my guide, my pack. And anything that's the same or worse doesn't go in there. And I've just collated basically 170 pages of things that make it better. So that's what my guide is. I've basically tested everything. I've done charts for everything, shown it's better, make sure that the other guys see it better as well. And then it all adds up. And so you get a much faster, more responsive system. And that's all my guide is really. It's just the results from all these tests. What's better, epic textures, default textures? You know, if you can think of it, I've tested it. So yeah, if you want my guide, then join my Discord. I think you have to jump through a couple of loops to join my Discord. You have to kind of read the rules. You have to kind of say hi in general chat. And then, yeah, go to the guide README. And then up the top, there's the steps. You can, so 20 quid for the full guide, for the PC optimization guide, £5 for a Fortnite add-on. That's basically giving you various options for how to set up Fortnite for the best setup. But the main thing is this one. The main thing is the ultimate guide. And it will teach you how to, and then once you've got it, you can then download the PDF, download the zip file, and run through them all. And I've got some walkthroughs as well, how to set up your BIOS. I think there's some other walkthroughs as well for other bits. There's a 4-hour walkthrough for some of the bits for the videos to complement it with. But yeah, the guide is show you what you're getting. I've got a copy of it somewhere. There we go. So this is the guide. There's sections on how to benchmark your system, how to show that your computer's getting faster as you're tuning, because as I say, I don't do feel, I do numbers. So you take a measurement at the beginning, you optimize, you go back and see whether it's better or worse. And so I give you the kind of how to check that it's getting better. So you can see it's getting better. You don't just feel it's getting better. How to set up your BIOS, how to optimize Windows and debloat it, best Windows settings. Then I've got disk optimizations, timer resolution stuff, Windows tweaks, CPU optimizations like disabling C states and things like that. Processor SU, parking for your CPU cores, memory optimization, some basic memory overclocking guides. So yeah, it's all of this stuff. There's sections on network optimization, So I basically cover all the bases. So CPU optimization, GPU optimization, network optimization, all the components, memory optimization, disk optimization. So all the bits in your computer, I've got a section on how to optimize it for you. FPS limited. So yeah, it's not just me optimizing your system and you haven't got a clue what happened. This actually just walks you through everything and you learn it yourself. So even better. Anyway, and then if you don't understand something, just ask and I'll explain it for you. But this all goes on Rapper's PC, Ship's PC, and that's what keeps it stable and nice and happy. So that's what you'd be buying. Anyway, right, stake time. So as I say, if you want any of that stuff, what does the walkthrough look like? What the video? Me basically just
Building your online business?
Oh no, that's different.
Go to Wix.com
How do I
and
stop
set
my
up
video?
your store.
This is me setting up a system. I mean, this is 7 hours worth. Paste it. That's already on by default, but what this does do is it lets you set the interrupts. Well, 170 pages, yeah, it is a lot. But as I say, if you want me to do it for you, it's going to take 4 or 5 hours. Whereas, and then I'm charging you like $50, 50 quid an hour. So it's going to cost you a lot of money. Whereas the guide, you can just do it at your own pace, go through each bit. Should be pretty idiot proof. If it's not, if something's unclear, then just, as I say, just ask. Like my BIOS walkthroughs. I made a new video the other day.
Your online business? Go to Wix.com and set up your store on a single integrated platform.
And I've got like a don't have any audio cables in the back of my PC into the motherboard, so I don't need that either. So you can basically turn off anything you don't need. It doesn't really have a breakdown of videos on everything, but it kind of they complement each other. Yeah. Anyway, right, stake time. It's stake time. All right, guys, I hope you found that interesting. I found this really interesting the other day. I only ran this the other day, by the way. But it does turn out that it's the game engine that's limiting you, not your system half the time. So Epic need to fix that, not you. Do what you can. All right, I'm gonna eat. I will be back after lunch. I need to run some games, so I'll probably be back in like an hour or two. So if you've got any questions, then just ask. All right, bye for now. See you later.